Why ego blocks growth? Why does growth feel stuck even when you want to change? Why do the same patterns keep repeating? The same arguments, the same reactions, the same disappointments? Even after you say, I'm working on myself. Most of the time, it's not a lack of effort. It's ego. Ego isn't just arrogance. Ego is protection. It's the part of you that needs to be right, the part that explains instead of listens, the part that defends instead of reflects. And as long as ego is in charge, growth will always feel like a threat, because growth requires humility, and ego survives on control. Ego exists to protect how you see yourself. It steps in when you feel exposed, when you feel wrong, when you feel uncomfortable, challenged, or unsure. Ego says, that's not my fault. That's not what I meant. You're misunderstanding me. I don't need to change. You do. Ego doesn't ask, what can I learn? It asks, how do I protect myself? And that's why ego blocks growth. Because growth requires you to see yourself clearly. The me with issues lets ego run the show. When I'm confronted, my ego takes over. I focus on being right instead of being honest. I interrupt instead of listening. I explain myself instead of taking responsibility. Ego makes growth feel dangerous because it feels like admitting I'm wrong, accepting I caused harm, questioning who I think I am. So I resist. I defend my intentions instead of acknowledging impact. I bring up what others did instead of owning my part. I protect my image instead of repairing the situation. In my mind, growth feels like losing control, losing power, losing identity. So ego convinces me to stay the same, not because I don't want better, but because staying familiar feels safer than changing. The me who is working on herself is learning and growing. I still feel ego show up, but now I recognize it. I notice when I want to defend instead of listen. I notice when I want to explain instead of pause. I notice when I want to be right instead of accountable. And instead of letting ego take over, I slow myself down. I remind myself that growth doesn't mean I'm bad. It means I'm learning. I'm learning to separate my worth from my behavior, to understand that being wrong doesn't make me unworthy. It makes me human. When ego wants control, I choose curiosity. When ego wants to win, I choose understanding. When ego wants to protect my image, I choose growth. That doesn't feel comfortable yet, but it feels honest. And honesty is where growth finally starts. Ego blocks growth because it confuses protection with survival. But healing teaches me this. I don't need ego to keep me safe anymore. I need awareness. I need accountability. I need humility. Growth begins the moment ego steps aside. So ask yourself honestly, where is ego showing up for you right now? In your relationships? Your reactions? Your resistance to change? Growth doesn't start when you prove you're right. It starts when you're willing to learn. If this resonated, like, subscribe, follow, and share, and comment below. Where do you notice ego blocking your growth the most? Self-awareness is the first step.